Welcome to Clutter Goth Fragrances. This is my very first YouTube video, and I'm excited to start this channel. I have loved fragrance for pretty much as long as I can remember, and I feel like a channel like this is going to be something that helps me to connect with folks, and it's going to be something that helps me to sort of explore and celebrate the art and magic of fragrance, and hopefully encourage me to actually be more active in the way that fragrance integrates in my life, actually like examine that, reflect on that, integrate it more in like a more thoughtful way, and use them in not just thoughtful, but like fun, right? Be more aware of how fragrance actually affects my awareness of life and, like I said, fun, celebration, magic, and art. So what we're doing today is setting up my January fragrance tray. So this is also a little bit of a get to know me. Monthly fragrance trays are something I haven't done a ton of, maybe for 6 months or so I've been doing that. And it is a multi-pronged tactic. So one of the reasons I do it is because, probably for the same reason that a lot of other folks do it, is to focus on some fragrances in your collection. I also like doing it because of making these sort of little vignettes within my house that look beautiful, because the fragrances themselves often, not always, but often are beautiful. The bottles are beautiful. Like, it's an art in of itself. It's a beautiful thing I want to look at. Like, aesthetics are super important to me in my home. So there's that factor. But there's also the extra factor of the fact that my house isn't huge. I don't have a ton of storage. And I haven't ever counted how many like non-sample sized fragrances I have. So by that I mean anything that's more than like a travel. There's a lot, but I don't know, it's not hundreds, but there's a lot. So making a beautiful, aesthetic, useful, functional, but also like storage-based perfume tray is something that I've found is like super helpful for me each month. The way I select things is kind of on vibes. I like to complement the season and the month, right? Sometimes it's things I'm super excited about, but I also don't make myself feel tied to what's on the tray. If I'm feeling something else that's in another spot, like a drawer or another storage space, I'll go to that one. If I decide that I want to sort of play around and test out a bunch of different vanilla ones or nutty ones or musky ones, then I'm going to do that. So without further ado, let's meet each other a bit, and you can see some of my fragrance taste while I set up my January tray. One other thing before I get going, I'm working on setup. We'll see how it morphs and changes over the videos, but currently the image in the background, I literally finished yesterday. Well, sort of finished, it's not totally finished, but it's my moon calendar for the year. It's the first time I've done that, and I feel like it was a really good way to sort of focus on intentions for the year, planning to celebrate throughout the year, and connecting to the world around me, right? And being a little bit more aware of the rhythms of what the ecosystem does throughout the different months and seasons. So yes, let's get going with the fragrances. This is a relatively recent purchase. It's C.A.C.A.O by Fragrance World. It was pretty inexpensive, as you can imagine, and it was one of those things where I threw it into the cart to bump it up to free shipping. Whoever thought of that, whatever business person thought of that, smart, because it gets me every time. And this one, I just want to explore more. I think the aesthetics of the bottle will look nice on the tray, and it does seem to vibe with this season. I would like things that are mostly kind of warmer. This for me would be January, would be the time to do, I guess, heavier scents. So you'll see some of that coming up. Not that this one necessarily is, but, and also maybe certain kinds of gourmands, of which I think this fits in. So the next one going on the tray is Legion, another Fragrance World purchase. This one I've had for a while, but I haven't used it much. This might be about a year I've had it. And I bought it because I have a teeny tiny sample of Ojon by Parfums de Marly, and that's too much for me, too rich for my blood. I'm not going to pay the price for that. Like, I don't like it enough to pay that price. So I found this dupe, and I have to tell you, unfortunately, I think a little bit of FOMO factored into me buying this. because I was looking for dupes. This one was listed a few times. And a couple of times it was listed as, oh, it's super hard to find. And when I found it on Fragrance Buy, which is where I got C.A.C.A.O as well, I'm like, well, if it's hard to find, then I'm a fool to not buy it. The next fragrance for the tray is Nebras by Lattafa. This one is here, partly, I like it. It seems to fit with the vibe of the season. For me, it doesn't do that minty thing that some people say it does. I quite enjoy it. And frankly, I would be curious to smell what that minty thing means, because I don't know that minty would be necessarily bad. That said, I don't have a lot of minty fragrances in the collection, but this one's on the tray because I like that sort of warmth in the red berries that it gives. And it sort of captured my imagination, I think in November, so a couple of months ago. And I was spraying it a lot. I was surprised. It was one of those ones where I put it on the tray. I'm like, oh yeah, this will be interesting. This will be fun. And I used it. But then like one day it just grabbed me. I'm like, ooh, I like this. And it was, I don't know, a couple of weeks in a row where it was, kind of the one that I reached for the most. So I am disinclined to take it off the tray while we're still in the colder months. Frankly, I don't know. I haven't had it long enough to try it in the warmer months. I'm curious about that. But it's given me a vibe of like a colder month sort of fragrance. So this one is on the tray as well. I was just saying that I am disinclined to spend a lot of money on certain fragrances, but I will say it depends on how much I like it, obviously. I haven't done the math, but according to my brain files, I think this fragrance is the one that is the most expensive by almost any measure in my collection. So Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille. This one I've had for maybe almost 3 years at this point, and I was just looking. I was just looking as I did my like virtual window shopping a few months ago to see, what is it going for now, or what are the sizes that they have. It's not that this is running low. It isn't. If I held a light up to it and you could see through, I think I've still got maybe like 2/3 of it left. I know everyone has been saying that prices have been going bananas, but I bought this, like I said, maybe 2.5, 3 years ago or so, and it's like $150 more now than when I bought it. I do love this fragrance. I don't know that I would ever spend that much money on one fragrance ever again, because this I bought when I was starting sort of letting go of the thing that held me back from buying more fragrances. So for years and years and years, I had maybe 10, if even, proper fragrances, not body sprays, not lotions, none of that, maybe 10 fragrances. And one of the reasons that I didn't buy more, despite the fact that I love perfumes, was that I told myself, well, I can't wear it to work. So, I mean, what's the point of spending this much money on something that you can't wear very much? And I don't know, I can't tell you what clicked in my brain, but something did. And I realized I don't wear it for other people. Frankly, I'm a little embarrassed when people can smell fragrance on me. Well, then why not just buy fragrance for me? I come home, or I'm at home of a day, or maybe I'm going to see people who I know aren't sensitive, or they don't have a problem with the thing that I'm wearing. So I wear it then, right? Why not weave into life things that give joy and feel magical and artful and wonderful? So that was the thought process I gave myself to purchase more fragrances. This one was sort of right at the beginning of that a few years ago. I think, yes, I do have on my tray something that's a little bit older than that, and I think you'll tell by what's been used in the bottle. But this one super goes with the season. I still love Tobacco Vanille. I don't know, and this might be something for a future video and some explorations, if it's still my favorite fragrance in my collection, despite being by almost any measure the most expensive one. Next one up for the tray is Atelier des Ors, Lune Feline. This one, I actually have put a bit of a dent in it now that I look at it. I was going through a phase where I wanted like an incensey perfume a few months ago, maybe in August, September. So I was doing a little bit of internet research, and what I ended up doing, I thought this was the clever thing to do, was I found an actual retailer not too far from me, about an hour's drive away, where they actually had this and a number of other fragrances that I wanted to try. They gave me, or I bought, not inexpensively, I think a 9 ml decant. And at first spray, because I tried them there and I was like, okay, I'll buy the 9 ml decant. I'll see how I live with it, how it feels in my life. At first spray, it was like, well, this is nice, but it didn't give me magic. Okay. But after I tried it maybe 2-3 times, it clicked. The magic happened. I might like it more than tobacco vanilla now that I'm standing here thinking and talking with you about it. It's almost everything about it. The bottle is beautiful. I find the gold flakes inside it enchanting. That works on me. That little marketing thing works on me. It's lovely. The cap, beautiful. This was another fragrance by purchase. And it was a tester bottle. And it was, I think, the first tester bottle I ever bought from them because I didn't know what that meant, right? Because otherwise, Atelier des Ors is a little expensive. I just want to suck all of the joy and magic of wearing it in the colder months out because I really feel that it's not going to be something that I'm going to vibe with in the warmer months. It's no hardship to have it on the tray. I love having it on the tray. It's also beautiful. The bottle is beautiful. I love the engraving on the back. I love the weight of the cap. The whole experience of it, the way it fits in my hand is lovely. So joyfully, that's Lune Feline sitting on the January tray as well. Next up is Royal Blend Sequoia from French Avenue. I went through a bit of a phase, maybe about a year ago, when I had made a purchase from Sephora. And you know how you can add in, like, I think 6 free samples of some kind. So I'd added, I don't even remember what. But sometimes, they don't give you the free sample that you wanted. So the free sample that showed up ended up being a little tiny tester of Angel Share. As I tried them, but this was a little bit before my super enchantment with fragrance. And I did automatically like it, though, which was a bit surprising because a lot of the times those free samples that I would either select or they would throw in as a surprise to my Sephora orders, I didn't much care for. And then I would just pass them along to, like, my mom. I had kept I kept it for a long time, and then I would return back to it every once in a while. And then I realized, hey, I actually really super like this. I want to learn more about it. So I looked into it and was like, oh, super expensive. I ended up buying I think 10 ml little travel. And it's not enough. I cannot justify in my brain buying it at full price. Frankly, even the discounted price at somewhere like Fragrance Buy that I've purchased at many times that I'm comfortable shopping with, that's even like breaking. I don't know. Like, I like Angel Share a lot. I don't know if I like it that much. All this is to say, Royal Blend Sequoia is a dupe for Angel Share Paradis, which I've smelled a couple of times. And I'm like, oh, this is nice, but it's not. I'd rather, if I was going to spend that amount of money, get the original Angel Share. But I like the idea of the raspberry. So this was a blind buy. Naughty, I know. But this one worked out. I quite like it. It is, as a number of folks I heard described, like Angel Share. It has that sort of vibe to it. It does have the raspberry, which I very much enjoy, but it is fleeting. It may be the nature of that note, I don't know. But for the price I paid, which was not very much, and for the way the bottle is beautiful, and I do like the scent, I feel like this was a successful blind buy. I'm glad to have it on the tray. It'll add a little bit of more fun fruitiness to my January tray. Next up is Replica Soul of the Forest. This one is one that I bought years ago from Sephora, years ago. And I think this was before COVID, a long time ago. And this was when the Sephoras used to make up little samples for you. If you were like, oh, I like this fragrance, they get these tiny little testers and like squirt the bottle into the tester, which I always thought was like partially wasteful, though very grateful that they used to do that. And I sort of felt for the Sephora employees who would have to do that and have just fragrance all over their fingers all day long that maybe they didn't even like, particularly when it ends up being like a melange of whatever everybody asked for their samples for that day. Anyway, so I was at a Sephora and I was looking at Replica because I had fallen in love with something that'll show up a little bit later on this tray. And I was like, oh, I'm going to explore this particular house a little bit more. And I looked at Soul the Forest, and there was, I think, Atelier Cologne that I was looking at the same time. And the comment that the Sephora employee made at me was like, oh, these are like, you've got weird tastes. They didn't say weird, but it was, you've got disparate tastes, because Soul of the Forest, if you haven't tried it, the fragrance description directly on the front of the bottle says sap and ancient wood. Yes, it's like I've shoved my face into an evergreen tree and I am filled with joy and delight about it. I, because it's like so specific, I guess, I don't use it as much as the amount that I love it. So I'm putting it on the tray. It is absolutely not something I would wear in the summer. I know that because I've lived with it for years and I just can't do it in the summer. I just can't. So this is going on probably every winter tray, but we'll see. We'll see. Whatever captures me in the mood is what ends up happening. But this is like the uber winter perfume for me. So on to the January tray it goes. Next up is Riffacat from Paris Corner. Beautiful scent. It's the right amount of heaviness and like resinousness and like incensiness. That's something I want to bring into the winter months, bring into January. And I've had this for a number of months. It's not a warm weather scent for me. So on to a cold weather tray it goes. Next up is more Paris Corner, but Fire Your Desire. The little story I was telling earlier about my search for a dupe for Angel Share, this one was on that list. It is a nice fragrance. I do enjoy it. You can see the dent is not huge in it, if you can even see the dent, which is one of the reasons it's going out on the tray, because it is one of probably 4, possibly 5 fragrances that I purchased in search of a dupe for Angel Share. And like, I'm not a fool. I understand the way basic math works, despite the fact that I am more of an artist than a mathematician any day. But it did get me that I was buying dupes of something, the amount of which could have been added up to go towards the original thing, which is something I'm going to try. It's a narrative I'm going to try keep going in my head so that if I fall in love with another expensive thing, I don't just fall down the dupe rabbit hole, because I see what that's like now to have essentially multiples of the same thing. They are a little different, right? They are a little. I also have Camera. It's not on the tray yet. It's not on the tray. We'll see. It's nice. I like it. I do. I enjoy that style. I enjoy that type. I'd say it's different from Fire Desire, but they're both also too different from Angel Share to be something that I'm like replaces it, doesn't do it for me. But onto this tray, Fire Your Desire goes. I haven't played around with it for months. Plus, it's very pretty. Next up is Replica by the Fireplace. So I've twisted the bottle a little bit so you can see how much I've used. This one heavily used. I've had this for, dare I say, almost 10. I don't even know if the fragrance is 10 years old, but you know how life is measured in like pre and post COVID now? Like for sure it was a pre-COVID thing. I think I may have had it in 2018. So reference earlier when I talked about math not being my strong suit, it's almost 10 years, I guess. This one I would say at the time was my signature scent. This one I had before I had fallen down sort of that delightful rabbit hole of wear scent because it's magical art that you can enjoy every day, rather than I don't want to buy a fragrance because I can't wear it to work. So this one, that I think is one of the reasons it's so heavily used. I'm also reluctant to finish a bottle because I don't want to repurchase things. I like knowing that I have it. I'm probably not in any danger of this guy disappearing anytime soon, but I do still love this fragrance. I do still love that sort of soft smokiness and that fireplace vibe and the wood that you get from this particular fragrance. So onto the tray it goes, Replica by the Fireplace. Next up is Histoire de Parfum, Encens Roi. This one, relatively new. This one was also a fragrance by purchase. It's a smaller amount. I usually like to get 100 ml unless it's a little bit too expensive. And that's kind of the case for this one. It was not a blind buy. I had gotten a sample of this, and I think I'm going to have to do a little bit more investigating. Very important to do your full investigating. But I do think this one might be my favorite incense fragrance. I felt a surprise actually with this one, because what I will do is I'll get the tester, usually, right? I do blind buy sometimes, but I'll get a tester, I'll live with it for a bit, and I don't finish it off before I buy the travel or the full bottle, because I don't know, this is just my brain. I don't know, maybe I'm being goofy. I want to test the tester against the full bottle. Maybe just for fun. I don't know, just to see, because I know I've heard people say that sometimes the tester goes off, or sometimes the tester is spoiled in some way. It's not the right fragrance. I did my little contrast compare. I did have, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 sprays left in my tester, and as is my way, I'll pass that along to my mom. And I did not think she'd like this, because in my knowledge and experience of her tastes in perfume, it is floral, like white floral, not my tastes for fragrance. So when I passed her this one, and she sprayed it, her face lit up. It's like, oh, I really like that. I was surprised, because never in a million years would I have guessed that she would like this. But the first things out of her mouth was that reminded her of church, which of course is one of the descriptors that you hear quite frequently for this fragrance. I do love this one. I'm looking forward to using it, and I do think it's another one of those ones. I think probably most incense ones are not going to be things that I vibe with in warmer months. So this is probably going to live pretty continuously on the cold weather tray, and I'm excited for it. That's Histoire des Parfums en Sancerrois. I have been known to be shallow enough to select fragrances for the tray, mostly based on the aesthetic, color, shape, texture vibe that it gives. So having this one on the tray is breaking that. And I'm going to tell you, it's because I've got that new fragrance enchantment happening right now. This one I got literally 2 days ago. It's Panettone from Milano Fragranze, and I didn't realize that I liked the actual food panettone as much as I did until about a month ago, when I got my mom her favorite panettone, as she told me, from the grocery store, and we had it together. I'm like, holy moly, this is delicious. And I was convinced that there was rum in that panettone. There wasn't. I don't know that panettone generally has rum in it, but it just that smell was capturing me, captivating me. It was fantastic. When I was doing as I do, which is scroll and virtual window shop, I came across this fragrance. I must admit to you, this was a blind buy from Fragrance Buy, but a successful one. It was a successful one. This purchase that I made, that I got a couple of days ago, had a couple of other fragrances in it that were not so successful blind buys, but this one, very successful. Glad I own it. And it's going on the tray because I have that new fragrance excitement for it. I'm looking forward to using more. Plus, it is, still that vibe. It's still sort of that holiday. It's post-holiday, but it's still sort of that time of the year. So I'm looking forward to indulging in this lovely, sweet, warm citrus kind of fragrance. Next up on the tray is one of my favorites, my husband's favorite. It's Tyrannosaurus Rex from Zoologist. I fell in love with Zoologist early 2025. I so super enjoy, it's a combination of all sorts of things that I love and scratch itches for me. They're a Canadian brand. They're super artful. They have bottles and literal artwork on the bottles that captures my heart. This is one of 5 full bottles that I have from Zoologist, and I don't know. Don't make me choose a favorite. It might be my favorite, but don't. It's not. It's not my favorite. It's close. I think it might be number 2. But this one, definitely for me at least, a cold weather fragrance. People describe it one of the things that got my attention about it was how noxious people seemed to feel that it smelled. Not to me. Not to me. I think I understand what people are saying and what they're feeling when they describe what they describe about this fragrance to an extent. I don't get burning rubber or tires. I don't get that. But it is kind of like the end of the world. It is something that I think successfully, artfully captures Tyrannosaurus Rex, right? That fascinates me, the way that people can be so artful in making something like a fragrance. This one's going on the tray. It's probably going to live on the tray till March. We'll see. We'll see. But it does get used by both me and my husband. Like I said, it's his favorite. So I always try to make sure that it's relatively easy to get at. So it lives upon the tray, usually near the front of it, so that he can just grab and go if he wants to. So that's Tyrannosaurus Rex by Zoologist. So next up is another Paris corner. It's You're Drugged. So I like to have this one out too. It's also very sort of heavy fragrance. Now that said, I don't like the name. I see what they mean though. Right. Their poetry and their art is working on me. I see what they mean. It feels intoxicating isn't the right word. It does like heady, I guess. Heavy, heady, something that I feel like I would inhale, close my eyes, fall back, and then go into like a different dimension. Like I like it. I don't love it, but there's something about the fragrance that does that to me. I don't know. My words cannot explain better than that. But onto this tray it goes because I do think it's good for this particular time of year. This one I haven't quite decided what I want to do with yet. So it's called Vanilla Biscuit. It's a hair perfume by something called the Good Scent Studios. I got this from Winners a couple weeks ago. I still haven't actually used it on my hair yet because I don't have any hair perfume. I've never tried hair perfume before. This is a new thing for me. Vanilla Biscuit, okay, maybe, but I more get popcorn, right? It's a little bit more like some of those inexpensive sort of caramelly popcorn kinds of fragrances that you'll encounter every once in a while. So I haven't decided if it's going to live on this tray or if it's going to live somewhere else because its functionality is different. And this tray is, as you see, rapidly filling up. So it might live somewhere else, but it's going to be something I'm interested to explore because I have no idea how long it'll last on my hair. I don't know if having something that close to my nose is I'm going to go anosmic to it like immediately. And I don't know if it's going to have effects on my hair that I am not pleased with. I'm not necessarily precious about my hair. I just kind of despise having to wrangle with it all the time. And I don't want to do something that's going to upset any delicate balance of a possible good hair day that I might have at some point. That said, I rationalized to myself in the store, well, it's cheap. It does smell nice. I would like to play around with the idea of a hair perfume. And if it sucks as a hair perfume, like I don't want to put things in my hair, it smells nice enough that I would just simply like to put it on me or maybe even my pillow at some point. So that is the Good Scent Studios Vanilla Biscuit hair perfume. So as you see, hair perfume off to the side in fragrance jail? Purgatory. Let's say fragrance purgatory. But the one on the tray that's going to be added now is a little bit of a unique, unusual thing. So in October, I went on a little bit of a road trip with my mom, and we went to a like make your own fragrance studio kind of place. Delightful experience. Perhaps that's something that I can make a little video of in the future. But this is one of two fragrances I made on that day. This one I decided to call Tea, like T-E-A. And they wonderfully engraved it right in the bottom right corner there. You might be able to see. I wanted the overwhelmingness of it to be a black tea, specifically a black tea. But I also wanted sort of like milkiness and a bit of sweetness, not too much sweetness. I did want sort of that dry, sort of astringent thing that a black tea can do, partly because it smells lovely and I love it, but also partly because I don't really drink caffeine anymore, or just period, don't drink caffeine anymore. So to get that smell in my life, specifically of like a super caffeinated, like a black tea, this would be one of the ways of doing it. Throughout the process of making it, I kept being like, oh, maybe we can make it like a little bit milkier. And the woman helping me, I'm sure, I know, obviously, knows a lot more than I do, but she kept being like, don't no, I'm not going to add more milk. You shouldn't add more milk because it could go like sour and rancid and it's going to make you want to puke, essentially. So I trusted her judgment. I love this. I love this. I would say I like this more than some of the fragrances sitting on this tray right now, which give me delight, joy, but also a little bit of fear that I'm ever going to use it up. As you see, there's almost none of it used. But the experience of making it, fantastic. The memories associated with that, delightful. The fragrance itself, is now tied to that, right? So, as we know, fragrance is super tied to memory and it does these wonderful magical things in our brains. So onto this tray it goes. Because it's very tea-like, it's good for this time of year, but I feel like I could be happy to use this in warmer months as well. But I'm looking forward to playing around with this self-made tea fragrance more this month. Okay, tray's getting crowded, and I'm doing 4 at once here. These 4 little tester travel vials, I think they're 9 ml, I got from a place called Maximum Fragrance out in Mississauga, which is about an hour away from here. And I thought, as I said earlier in the video, I would be a responsible consumer and go there to actually smell some fragrances first. So I went up to the counter. You have to pretty much ask them to help you with everything except some of the Middle Eastern stuff that's just out for you to spray. They were helping me with these fragrances. I got these 4, which are Mammal Winter Palace. We've got Rian Intense Incense. We've got Mansera Hindu Kush, and we've got Nishane Oolong Cha. Some vibes in there that are similar with other vibes on this tray. I've got a bunch of tea. I want to indulge a little bit more in the Winter Palace tea and then the Oolong Cha, because people wax poetic about them. In the store, obviously, I liked them enough to get the 9 ml and play with a little bit more. They haven't super captured me, but I also think I haven't given them enough time. And the other 2 are the sort of incensey. The Hindu Kush one is more like it's got some of that herbal stuff in it, and I don't have many, I'm going to say almost even any other herbally kind of fragrances, and I did enjoy it. So these 4 are for exploration this January. Got a couple of cute little solid perfumes here. So on the left, I've got Cardamom Coffee from Lush. This is super old, it's probably 10 years old. I haven't used much of it because when I first got it at the time, I loved it so much that I did that thing where I don't want to run out of it, which is so silly, right? So I would like to use it more. I think it's changing a bit, turning a bit. So I think I want to go through it as much as possible. And the one on the right is from Lunia, which is, I think, Montreal, Quebec based at least, but I think in Montreal. And their aesthetics do it for me. Like, it's absolutely my vibe. So I got a sample pack of maybe 7 or 8 different fragrances. Some were oils, some were solids, and some were like actual spray eau de toilettes, or eau de parfums rather. This one is Moon Moss. I had semi high expectations, but it's weird. It's weird the way fragrance experience works when because these were all blind buys, right, from Lunia. I sniffed it at first, put it on a little bit at first, and I was like, no, I'm a little disappointed. This is fine, and I'll use it up, but too bad. A few days pass, tried it again, and something exploded in my brain that I feel I really think that I'm going to want a full size of that solid perfume. So this month is for exploring that a little bit more, making sure that that's what I want, because in just a moment you're going to see I might add something else to that Lunia order. So that's a couple of solid perfumes that are added to the tray this month as well. So 6 little testers here. The one on the furthest left is that other Lunia fragrance, and it's Forêt Dormant. It is, it hurts my soul that I only have that much left in it. I absolutely am going to have to make a Lunia order at some point in this year. That one's going to be on it. The Moon Moss Solid Perfume is going to be on it. One of the reasons I haven't made that purchase already, partly because I'm not a millionaire, but also partly I do have the other about 6 or 7 fragrances samples from Lunia that I want to play around with a little bit more, just that I'm sure of the ones that I like the most before I place the order. But that one's on the tray, and as it's sitting there, I'm feeling like maybe it shouldn't be on the tray because it's so precious at this point that I don't want to use it up. We'll see. Anyway, next to that are those sort of like rose goldy capped samples. I can't remember exactly. Was that the Scented Journey? I think I got those from a few months ago. Good experience purchasing with them as a little decant seller in Canada. Except for the fact, good experience in that the price was fine and the delivery was good. It showed up good on time, good communication, etc. And I love the way the little bottles look. They're very pretty, But I guess the way that they did the label, they disappear. Like the text disappears. So I had to make little labels to stick on the bottom of some of them, like the one on the furthest right. It's Dolce Diablo. You can't even read it anymore. But the three rose gold capped ones there, I've got two Javois, which those are on the top of my list. I've got Remember Me and Fire at Will. They're on the top of my list. I also still haven't gotten a sample of La Liturgie des Heures. I feel like I would like that one, but I'm not gonna blind buy it. I'm eyeing up the seller that I might be purchasing some of these Javois from, and we'll see. They didn't have any Boxing Day sales. They didn't have any Black Friday sales, so I'm waiting. I'm waiting them out. I'm waiting them out unless I find somebody else in Canada who is selling those fragrances that actually has sales, but we'll see. So those are going on the tray. And again, it's the same store as the Lunia Forêt Dormant one. I don't want to use up the sample, and it's getting low. The Dolce Diablo one is sitting there because I want to play with that more. I want to play with it more. I think I liked it, but we have to goof around with that one a little bit more. And then the two like more plain looking samples sitting on the tray here from the Scented, much better labels as you see, but less pretty bottles. And one of them is Masque Milano Lost Alice, and the other one is Narcotica Happy Dust. I bought the sample of Lost Alice because I think my favorite perfume is Rabbit from Zoologist. And I was digging around, seeing what other fragrances are anything like that one. And so far, simply based on internet research, I haven't found much of anything. Lost Alice had some similar notes. So I got this sample, and I don't like it at all. At least the first couple of times I tried it and sprayed it. As of right now, no thank you. It's sour, yucky, just yucky. Didn't do it. Maybe it's also partially because my hopes were so high and I wanted it to smell like rabbit, and it doesn't at all. But I want to explore that one a little bit more, hence it's on the tray. And Narcotica Happy Dust, I do like that one. I don't love the price of that one. So I'm going to see what that ratio is, right? The relationship between how much I like it and the price that they want me to pay for it. So those ones are on the tray for me to play around with in January. And now the last three fragrances are some fragrance oils. The little wee guy in the middle is Champagne Socialist, Coffee, Rum, and Cyanide. And the two in the lovely vintage glass bottles on the sides are Macabre on the left and The Innkeeper's Wife on the right. And those are both from an indie perfumer in, I think it's Harrow, Ontario, so called Lurker and Strange. So the Champagne Socialist, Coffee, Rum, Cyanide, it same story as the rest of these, gives that vibe of this time of year. Looking forward to using that one a little bit more. I do like a perfume oil. I enjoy that process. I know some people hate the rollerball thing. It's not necessarily my favorite if I was given the choice, but I mean, if it's an oil, it's an oil, right? What are you going to do? But the two Lurker and Strange fragrances, they are also rollerballs, and they're very plain. They usually come like branded with Lurker and Strange's text, image. I bought these, and I have a bunch. Like I have a bunch of these beautiful little glass glowing gems of magic potion bottles. I decided I was going to buy I think it's 10 mils that Lurker and Strange sells. Like that's their biggest size that they sell, and just decant them into these before I learned that that's probably not a great idea. So these beautiful bottles do have those like stems that go inside, glass stems. So you pull the stem out, you rub it on your wrist. It's a delightful experience. So it's also partially the experience, right? It's the aesthetics of like visually, it's the aesthetics of smell. It's the whole experience. It's like the physical experience of putting it on as well. Like the rollerball, nah. But this beautiful vintage piece of glass, delicate piece of glass that I pull this magic wand out of and rub onto my wrists. Beautiful experience. So I'll describe them a little bit to you because chances are you've never encountered Lurker and Strange before, but if you have, hooray. So Macabre is, I think, my favorite of theirs, I think. So I'll read to you a little bit of their description. So they write, in shadowed groves where silence sighs, oak moss clings where darkness lies, Bergamot flickers sharp and bright, labdanum curls in the fading light. Patchouli stirs with an earthly grace. Roasted cocoa deepens its trace. Vanilla whispers soft and clear, a macabre dance, both sweet and near. I said dance. What's wrong with me? Dance. So, top notes: bergamot, lemon blossom, middle notes, oak moss, sandalwood, vanilla accord, base notes, labdanum, patchouli, roasted cocoa, and tree moss. It is so gorgeous. I have bought, I think, two, maybe even three, I think three actually, 10 mils from her because I blew through the first 10 mil. It is delightful. It's delightful. If you like the sounds of those notes, I would highly encourage you to seek out Lurker and Strange Macabre. I know that it's sold out right now. She's a one-person show, I think. I don't know how frequently she updates things, but she, of course, like most folks, she's got a newsletter if you want to sign up for that. Check her out. Highly recommend. And for the other fragrance, that's the Innkeeper's Wife. I'll read you a little bit of that blurb as well. So, it's late. You're traveling the old dirt roads, weary and worn, and in need of a comfortable bed, and you come upon a quaint inn for the night. Wafting outside is the scent of baking from the innkeeper's wife preparing for their guests. You pause for a moment as you remember your grandma's baking and step inside. So they describe the scent as sweet, ripened bananas, caramel, brown sugar, and honey pralines. That's exactly what it is. So it's very sweet. It's very sweet. I don't get like a baked good exactly. Like there isn't that flour based kind of baked good feel. And I pulled it out because I haven't used it. It's criminally underused, I would say. And for a while, probably ever since the summer, when I saw a lot of folks just talking about the banana fragrances that have been coming out and popular, I wasn't sure if I would like banana. Like for example, I can't do cherry in fragrance, which unfortunately means I also don't buy things that say that's heavy on almond, because the cherry thing does the medicine thing for me. I'm not going to say never, right? I'm not going to say never. I'm just going to say I don't like to gamble too much, right? If I know that there's notes that I love, I'm going to tend to get those more than notes that I might not like at all, might make me feel gross. So the banana thing is one that I want to explore because it could be medicine-y, right? And it could be just too artificial, going over to the line where I just don't want to even smell it. So I wanted to play with banana a little bit more and see if it presses a yuck button or if it is actually something that I deeply enjoy. So that's the Innkeeper's Wife from Lurker and Strange. All right, and there you have the January tray. I added the final touch, which always goes on, which is my little Portuguese sardine who likes to sit there and keep all the fragrances safe for me every month. So that's a lot of fragrances, as you see. Pretty crowded tray, but I do find that I enjoy the abundance of choice that it visually provides to me. I also enjoy like all the colors and the textures and the cohesion and the composition of this little vignette in my life, in my world. So looking forward to goofing around with these, to testing out ones that I want to test, to learning a little bit more about ones that I want to learn more about, and returning to some of my beautiful, loved favorites in January. I'm also super looking forward to doing more videos for you, chatting more about you, learning more about you, and connecting here on this space.